Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to turn this crappy backdrop into this, and then we're going to fix that. Yeah, we're going to use the Fusion screen in Davinci Resolve 17, and we're not going to use anything from the paid version, just the stuff you can find in Davinci Resolve free. So let's dive in. Don't be scared of the Fusion tab, but remember, if you like this video, don't forget to like it at the end and comment and subscribe and all that YouTube stuff. But before we begin, a couple of quick tips that'll make your life a lot easier. One, have a decent green screen or at least some kind of cloth that is a single shade of green. That's key. The other key is this. See that reflection? Yeah, that's my softbox. I'll show a picture here. The extra light that the softbox adds makes all the difference when you go to green screen. Yep, it's a lifesaver. So let's jump into Resolve and get this squared away for you. Oh, and since you're probably not asking, I'm not using the color tab, and I'm not going to use Magic Mask to do this. I've played around with both of them, but the Fusion screen is where it's at. Also, I'm not going to delve into the nitty-gritty because if you're like me, you're looking to do YouTube and social media videos, and you're not doing Hollywood level stuff. You feel free to delve into some of the finer aspects of the Delta Keyer. Hey, look, that's what we're going to use in a minute. But for now, we're just going to use Delta Keyer and Fusion and get it done quick and dirty, but with really good results, as you'll see, or have already seen because you're looking at my backdrop. So here we are in Resolve. I've got a couple of clips I recorded with OBS for our background, and I recorded with my phone for the foreground. If you notice, my phone footage is backwards, and we will fix that in just a moment. And since I did show you, I'm going to fix this guy up here too so that you have a much cleaner appearance to your video. So the first thing we need to do is open this bad boy in Fusion. So I'm going to right click and say open in Fusion page. And don't be scared, it's just Fusion. It's not going to bite. We've got Media 1 here, which is our video. Media Out is the output player. If I press the 1 key, you see we have our Media In over here. And what we're going to do is add a transform. And the line turned blue, drop it in. With the transform, we can come over here and flip it so it's right. And then we're going to use our Shift plus space bar. And we're going to bring up the Select Tool window, which came up on my other monitor. We're going to type in Delta Keyer, or DK. And we're going to click Add. And now the fun begins. So I'm going to rearrange our screen here. We're going to come in, grab our dropper tool, bring it over to the brightest part of our green screen and drop it. And then I'm going to zoom in, and you can see it's already done a pretty good job. There's a little bit of fuzz here, and that's not just facial hair. And really, I got the distance from the green screen pretty good. There's not a lot of reflection, and this is a pretty clean matte. Wow, okay, well this will be easier than I thought, but there is some green. You can see a tinge of it when you zoom out. And we don't want some of that fuzz, so we're going to go over to the threshold, and we're going to bump it up, and you can see what happens. You can watch. If I max it out, I disappear. But if I don't, then you see over here, you'll see this blind start to disappear. And that's pretty good right there, but that's also dropping out a lot here. So you don't want to go too far. We can fix a lot of this a much easier way. So we're going to bring this back down to about 0.25. It's about where I like it. And what that does is it color corrects for the different shades of green in your source material. So if you look over here, you can see a dark green shadow that's cast by the light box. It's not here. But if I back this out, you can see, if you're paying close attention to this area, as I move the threshold, you can see it gets cleaned up and not cleaned up. So if you want that shadow, leave your threshold closer to 0. If you want less of it, bring it up a little bit. And like I said, I want to bring it up to about 0.2. And you'll see there's a little bit of green reflection on the blinds, but don't worry about that. The other big thing is there's a little bit of green in my logo. And I left this in here on purpose. You'll see it turned brown here. So we're going to fix that in a minute too. We're going to do some masking. This is fun. And that's about all I changed there, except I will do a clean foreground and background. Now to see those better, we're going to go back to up here and we're going to hit Fit. And I'm going to click on this image and press my A key. and you can see it shows a black and white image showing you what's being masked and what's not. So here you can see I'm mostly being masked. You can see if I zoom in, my glasses are catching a little bit of green. There's the aforementioned green on the screen and the blinds. So we're going to clean foreground, clean background. And if you get something wonky that you don't like, you can go ahead and fix that. But now you can see it's fully being masked out. Now if I hit the A key again, it still doesn't look quite right, does it? But if you zoom in, now with our threshold, and this is another point here, if I go further, you can see that it's really getting rid of my ear. So we'll back this back down to 2 and leave it there. It's pretty clean. Yeah, I like that quite a bit. Okay, so now that we have that done, we need to clean up this and fix this, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first thing we need to do is grab a polygon right here, drag it in. We're going to need a second polygon. Now for the first one, you can click on it so it's surrounded in red. You just come up here and we're going to click and make a rough outline of our polygon, and then control mouse wheel to zoom in. We're going to cut it off right there at the top of the monitor. So I'm going to bring it up to those 2 corners. And just to make it even, I'm going to kind of move this over here. And then we'll click on Polygon 2. And we're going to, again, come over here. But this time, we're going to mask off our monitor. So we're going to zoom in, click there, that corner, zoom out, and then, oop, that one turns white. Click on it, boom. Now we have our rectangular polygon mask. Sometimes I'll go into this area and mask off around it too, but one of the things to be careful, here's a hidden tip or trick, is if you have a green screen and you're limited on space like me, don't wave your arms around, because then you'll spend ages masking off this area to mask off the blinds, but leave your hands alone. So just a quick tip. Now we have our polygons set up. We'll drag the first one into this lower gray triangle. That's going to be called our garbage mat. And you can see that it is masked off this area. And then for polygon 2, we've selected it. We'll drag it to the blue triangle, which will be our effect mask. And you see that it canceled out our green over here. We're going to go over to the controls under inspector. If you don't see it, click inspector. And we're going to click invert right there. And now you can see that this corner is masked out. Our green screen is masked out. And we have a clean setup on our laptop screen. So that's pretty slick, right? So now that you can see the yellow matches. That's why I left this viewer up over here. And now the effect is pretty much done. So we're going to go back to our edit tab. And all we have to do is line these bad boys up. So I'm going to do right click, auto align clips based on waveform. And you can see we now have the Road Reality screen in the background with our Road Reality laptop visible and me. So if I zoom in, you can see that we've got a really clean mask here around me, not a ton of shadowing, and you can see there's a little bit of shadow here off the laptop screen, which is nice, a nice effect. And you can drop anything into this background. So if we just separate these and we add in, say, a room background, and then we'll disable this clip with the D key, you can see that now we're in a room. And if I zoom in on this, say to about there, move it around a little bit, change that a little bit, zoom in a little, move it over a little bit, there you go. And now it looks like I'm in a room, doesn't it? How silly is that? I've actually done this effect, and a friend of mine sent me a message on Facebook and said, hey, I don't recognize that room in your house. Where are you? And I said, haha, I'm in front of a green screen. I win. But anyway, that's the green screen effect, real quick and easy. It's not that difficult. And once you've masked it out up here, you can basically put anything you want in here. I've got some stock videos. We'll do one of my favorites here. And now I'm in front of a mountain. And if you want to mask out the laptop screen, it's as easy as playing with the masks that we had. And you can see there's a little bit of color around that. So you can always just go back in. Now, be careful with this, because if you go back in and muck with it, it'll create keyframes. So I recommend going to the first frame of your video And if you want to mess with it, I do recommend selecting both. It'll show you both polygons here, so you can see how they line up, or in my case, they don't. So we're going to drag this over and drag this down, and that should clean everything up. And if your phone or camera pulls focus at different spots in the video, you want to overlap these a little bit. So there's another tip. Clean it up. Maybe a little bit too much, but for the purposes of this demo, we're good. So what we'll do is, we're going to play this. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Now you've seen the final result. Go ahead and hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.